Okay, so let's have a little look at some rearranging questions from the prep work and just kind of give you a little summary as to what to look for when rearranging trickier formula. So obviously with each of these, the subjects that we're looking to get on its own, they're all kind of positioned in slightly more awkward places than in previous formula in section D on the prep work. What's important to be mindful of is a couple of things really. If your subject is trapped inside a fraction, so whether it's in a numerator or whether it's in a denominator. So if we have a look at this one here, for example, question 3, we want to make u the subject, u is trapped within the fraction. Question 4, it's trapped in two places, which is numerator and denominator. Question 7, x, our subject, is trapped in the denominator. Question 8, q is trapped inside denominator and numerator. Then it's important to kind of break that fraction up. So you want to multiply out the denominator. So by removing the denominator, it gets multiplied through to the other side. You have to be a little bit careful though. So for example, if I look at question 7, if we were to multiply through by x, we're going to be a little bit careful. X will appear on the other side. Obviously, we could write xy rather than yx. R is also going to get affected because x isn't part of the fraction, so it's going to feel the effects of multiplying through by x. So it removes itself from the end fraction, so qp over x will just simply become qp. X will appear next to r, x will appear next to y. If we have a look at question 8, obviously q is trapped in two places. Again, let's just multiply out the denominator. So we're going to have p multiplied by q minus 2 on the left-hand side, and then simply q plus 1 on the right. So it's important, if your subject is trapped within a fraction, we have to multiply out the denominator to basically stop it from being a fraction. Okay. Once you've done that, if you don't have any fractions to worry about, oh yeah, I forgot we had q, didn't we, up here that was trapped inside a fraction, so we'd have to perfect it there too. If your subject isn't trapped within a fraction, but you still have fractions in different places, then really you can just leave the fractions alone, just kind of treat them as if they're just a non-fraction and manipulate them as normal. Now, the other thing we're going to be mindful of is if our subject is trapped inside a set of brackets, then similar sort of idea, we just have to multiply out the brackets. So looking at question 8 down here, my subject was q. We've got q on the right hand side, q on the left hand side is trapped within some brackets. We have to get it out of those brackets. So multiply through by p. And so now we're at a stage where we've just got lots of terms, left hand side, right hand side, but no brackets to worry about and no fractions to worry about either. Okay, once we've done that, really, you should be in a situation where you've just got your subject either in one place or in several places, either on the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the equation. So the next stage is to gather all your subject terms. What I mean by that is gather all your terms involving your subject so they're on one side of your formula, and anything not involving your subject on the other side of your formula. So if we just roll off here, this is an example from question 7. We got rid of x from our denominator, we've got left-hand side, right-hand side. We've got two terms involving our subject, which is x. We've got yx, we've got rx. The other term that does involve a subject is qp. I'm just going to leave that alone. So I want to get my terms involving x on the same side. Now I could bring the yx to the right-hand side, but I may as well bring rx to the left. because I don't want QP to be on the same side as my subject because it doesn't involve our subject. So anything not involving the subject should be on a different side to our subject terms. So Rx is a positive term, so we are going to subtract it from the right-hand side. In doing so, QP will be left on its own, but it's a negative QP that I've got to be mindful of, so we're going to keep it as a negative QP. Subtracting Rx from the left-hand side, we're going to get Yx, take away Rx, and then we've got our two terms involving x on the left, terms not involving x on the right. Looking at question 8, this is how far we got. So what's our subject term? Our subject term is Q. So I've got two terms involving Q. I've got PQ and I've got Q. So I want the terms involving Q on the same side, those that don't on the other side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this Q onto the left first. So this Q is a positive term, so I'm going to subtract it and do the same on this side as well. And so I'm going to get PQ minus Q on the left-hand side. The term not involving Q on the left-hand side is negative 2P. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this from the left-hand side by adding it. So it is a positive, sorry, it's a negative term, so I need to add to remove it. So adding to remove it from the left-hand side means it's going to be added to the right-hand side as well. Oh, we got rid of that Q, didn't we? Ignore that. Let's see if I can. No, it's not going to work. I'm just going to scribble it out. Okay, so 1 is still there. When we took away the Q from this side, it appeared on the left. But this 2P, which I'm going to add from the left so it appears on the right, will appear as a positive 2B on the right-hand side. So my terms involving Q on the left, my terms not involving Q on the right. Okay, so final stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to a new slide so I've got enough room. And let's just copy down the two formula that we ended up with. So question 7, what did we get up to? Yx minus Rx. Yx minus Rx. Yx minus Rx is equal to, what was it, minus QP. So that was question 7. That's what we got up to. And question 8, we got up to the point where we had PQ minus Q is equal to, we had 1 plus 2P. Okay, so that's where we got to. So our final stage, now we've got all our terms involving our subject on one side, all our terms not involving our subject on the other side. It's important our subject is on its own. We want our subject equal to everything else. Now our subject is in two places in both of these questions. We need to factorize our subject. That's going to be an H. And divide through our brackets. Here, our subject is X. We're going to factorize our subject. On question 8, factorising our subject. And then we divide through our brackets. So our subject is times in y minus r. I'm going to divide through by y minus r. And we've made x our subject. In question 8, dividing through our brackets. Oops, p minus 1. We don't need to leave the p minus 1 in brackets. It's all underneath our denominator, so we can leave it outside of brackets. If you want the brackets there, you can if you want. But now we've made Q our subject, everything else not involving Q on our other side, and we finished question 8.